Good evening. This is Miss Poopee Doodee, world's most determined reporter, reporting for Channel 666 Eyewitness News. Today's latest news is actually, well, something that happened to me, Miss Poopee Doodee. You see, by some odd chance, I, Miss Poopee Doodee, actually had an audition for the show 24, the one that Kiefer Sutherland has done. Anyway, so I had to go to this building in the city very early in the morning to do the audition, and it was filled with all these casting people for the show and all these producers and directors and just about a lot of people were there all sitting down. And anyway, so this casting person gave me the lines to read, and I'm supposed to play this character of a very energetic, determined person, you know, who's supposed to bring life, be very lively. So, you know, so the line was something along the situation of, well, you know, I have to disarm this bomb, it's going to blow, and everybody's going to die. So, I read the line the way that I saw fit. So, this is how I read it. The bomb, it's going to blow. Quick! Cut the blue line. If you don't cut the blue line, you better cut the yellow line, because if it doesn't blow, oh, we're going to be in big trouble. Hurry up, damn it! Cut that line right now, or else we're all going to die! Quick, pass it! Oh, no, it's going to die. So we have 2 seconds to go, 2 seconds to go. Come on, everybody, hurry up! We're going to die! Now we got to duck! Now, that was the way that, I, Miss Poopee Doodee, auditioned for, 24. And, as you can see, it was a very, interesting way, as that character that I was playing was a very energetic person. Unfortunately, the casting person didn't see it that way, and the first thing that person told me was like, hold on, that's not how you read it, okay? That is not what we called you here for. So then I told the woman, well, why don't you tell me how you would like me to read it? Let me see what you're talking about, because, you know, they do say it's good to be open to new things, so I wanted to see what she was saying. So she read the line, and she was supposed to be this energetic person, but she read the line like this. We're gonna have to cut the yellow line now. If we don't cut the blue line, it's gonna blow. We have 2 seconds, we're all gonna die. Could you please hurry up? We've gotta cut it. We need somebody to help it. If you don't help us, we're gonna do it ourselves. We're gonna die. And that was the way she read the line. And then I asked her, how is that acting? And this casting woman said, well, you're doing over-the-top acting. You know, that's just not how we do it here. And I told her, you think I'm doing over-the-top? Hey, buddy, you're doing under-the-bottom acting. That's what you're doing. I mean, since when is it okay for acting to be consisting of bland expressions with only one tone and bland facial expressions? But apparently that seems to be what acting nowadays is about. There is no expression, there is no change of tone, just the kind of whiny tone, like the kind of whiny tone you find in an office, like, you know, those office drones, or like, you know, like a boss or some exasperated office person, like, oh, could you please hurry up because we're going to be late. We have an office meeting in 2 minutes. That's how everybody's talking these days. So I told the producer, well, what is up with this? Why is everybody talking like this? And the thing is, they were just getting really angry because they did not like the idea of me, Miss Poopee Doodee, giving my opinion. So then the producer just said, look, okay, this sells. So then I told him, well, I guess it sells, because apparently the only reason the show is a hit is because it appeals to the masses that are all asses. And I suppose that, I guess people do relate to other people when they speak in a bland tone, and when they only have one facial expression, because these are the same people that have very, very mundane lives. So when they see something on television that's just as boring and bland, you know, they relate to it. They can't understand what it means to have a character. Anyway, so I was trying to tell, you know, all of these people in that show the way I felt, and they were just getting really, really angry. You know, and I guess that's the thing. It's another thing also, when you go for auditions, you're supposed to be in a very submissive state. Sometimes they call that submissive state, she has a great personality, but what that really means is that you've simply got to be very, very submissive and always nod your head and do everything they say. So anyways, one of them asked,
You know, how did she even get in here to this audition to begin with? How did she get in here? Who are you again? Who are you again? And I told him, hey, you know, I'm Miss Poopee Doodee, world's most determined reporter, and I'm on the show Miss Divine's here. Acted in a number of Miss Divine's sketch films, you know, Dancing Girl. And actually, I didn't act in that one. Interesting discrepancy. But I acted in a most peculiar bank heist. And, you know, I explained to them my whole acting resume, and then they just said, well, where's your website? And then one of them actually found the website because it was located on my resume, and then they looked at it, and they were like saying, oh, it's a really big website, but how come you don't have a MySpace account? Oh my gosh, he doesn't have a MySpace account. So I told them, hey, you think the only sites on the internet are like MySpace or YouTube? You think I'm gonna depend on a site that is probably, which is, you know, controlled by some big corporation with a bunch of hundreds of ads, and that's going to be my only website? Well, I could very well make my own damn website, and, you know, I establish my presence on the internet, but these idiots, they seem to just think that if you don't have a MySpace account, you don't have a website. But then again, yeah, who am I to argue with? These are the same idiots that work with the show 24 and people that watch it. Anyway, at this point, you know, things were not looking too good. So, I just wasn't sure what to do. Anyway, so Kiefer Sutherland, he was sitting down and he wasn't sure what to make of all of this, because the thing with these actors is that they're not, sometimes they're a little bit taken back when somebody actually resists and starts talking. So the only thing out of his mouth was just like, well, you know, why are you doing this? Why are you trying to mess up this big opportunity that you have? Why are you, like, behaving like this? And then I talked to Kiefer Sutherland and I told him, why am I behaving like this? Hey, buddy, why are you behaving like this? Well, you know, I mean, first of all, Kiefer Sutherland, let me tell you something. Remember back in the day, well, except for that terrible mistake when you were engaged to Julia Roberts, but back in the day when you used to act in those B movies, hey, whatever happened to that kind of acting? You don't care for those kinds of movies anymore? And first of all, and you must remember, your father, Donald Sutherland, he was a good actor. Oh, if he were to see the show that you're on, oh boy, wouldn't he be ashamed of you? I mean, you see, this is just a money-making show. It has nothing to really do with any kind of artistic talent or anything that's remotely interesting. But Donald Sutherland would be ashamed of you. In fact, but actually, Donald Sutherland is a much better actor than you. I mean, let's face it. And another thing, you know, you think you're doing this great television, you know, series, but, you know, your father, he acted some time ago in a television series called The Saint, and he acted very well, and it was also a very good show. So, you know, all I can say to you, Kiefer Sutherland, is shame on you! So, you know, at this point, why don't you start talking like that to some of these celebrities? You know, people go berserk because it's just like, no, you're not supposed to speak like that. So then everybody just started to say, you know, please, can you please get out? Please leave, please leave. So then Kiefer Sutherland, he just wasn't sure what to do, and then he said, oh, well, wait a minute, I don't think I'm sure yet. And then he looked at me. And then, you know, I was just getting annoyed at this point, because the way he looked at me, I knew that he was attracted to me. I am not interested in a promiscuous man. So I just told him, you know something? All of you people here who are in this big 24 show, if you think that, you know, you're going to have me, get the hell out. You're not going to have any part of me. You're not going to have my acting. You're not going to have anything, because I sure as hell don't want to belong. I don't even want to be near you people. You know, in fact, I just wasted my whole day on this stupid audition when I could very well be finishing up my show for Poopee Doodee and handing in my tapes on time. And at this point, you know, people were just getting, I mean, you know, I tell you, it's not like they wanted to kill me, you know? I mean, they all wanted to kill me. Can you imagine that? A whole bunch of people wanting to kill me. But unfortunately, that's what happens. People want to kill me. I don't know. So then one of them said, oh, what's QPT? And I said, hey, you know what that is? That's Queen's Public Television. And then, of course, you know, some of the producers had to say, oh, that's just public access television. That's really nothing. And I told him, you know something? You think public television is nothing just because you are on a network television station, that's a great thing. What you don't realize is public television gives you a lot of opportunity and a lot of exposure in actually exposing your artistic talents without being censored and without worrying if something sells or whether something doesn't sell. So now these people at this point, I mean, I don't know what to say. They were just getting really mad. The thing in Hollywood is just that, you know, if you don't agree with, you know, these people, these kind of directors and producers, they tend to get really angry. So, you know, I started picking up my stuff, and then, one of the people said, oh yeah, well why don't you go and work on your show? It's never going to be as good as 24, you know, you're never going to have a show even similar to 24. I was like, why would I want to have a show like 24? Why would I want that? And even if I could, hey, I too could have a show just like 24. Look at this! Woohoo! Woohoo! Hey Jack, look at me! Look at me! You've got 24 hours to catch me! Woohoo! Woohoo! Which squirrel box am I in? Which squirrel box am I in? Oh, let me keep moving these boxes. Keep moving these boxes. Because you see, the more boxes you have on your television series, that means the better the show is. So more boxes. Come on, we need more boxes. Woohoo, Jack. Which box am I in now? Woohoo! Am I in this box? Am I in that box? Which is the real box? Oh, come on. I love these boxes. Let me see more of the boxes. Boxes! 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 Woohoo! Well, there. Now you have it. That was how, you know, 24 is. So those of you who've never seen the show, don't even worry about it. But thankfully, you know, I made it back. I was able to produce, you know, the tape for the Kiefer TV weekly show and Queen's Public Television weekly show, and that's how I was able to have a new episode. Despite the fact that I had to waste my entire day at that stupid audition, thankfully I'm home, and thankfully no one actually, you know, killed me, because I really, you know, I left pretty fast. I mean, you know what a shame, which brings me again to my other point. I mean, I know there might be some who would just say, oh, she just wants to say that her show is, you know, better. Oh, yeah, she doesn't really know anything. Well, let me tell you this, you know, if aliens were watching this planet right now and say, okay, my show might be a sketch comedy show, let's compare a show like The Prisoner and put it next to the show like a 24. What a significant difference that is, you know? I mean, look at the decrease of intelligence. You have a show like The Prisoner, which is all the way up here. Now, in 2007, you have a show called 24, or 2006, or whenever the hell that show first came out. And you have The Prisoner here from the 60s. And look at the decline of intelligence. Look at the decline of idiots managing network television, the decline of all creativity, the decline of all good acting, the decline of all good stories, the decline of all good plots. What a shame, you know, I mean, in fact, words cannot express this terrible decline in entertainment. But unfortunately, there are not that many people who know about that show called The Prisoner. In fact, maybe you should know about that show and watch that, and you could see the huge difference, because that too, there was a time when shows like that used to show on network television, but not anymore, because now we have to have these shows, you know, consisting of actors with the bland facial expressions and who have to talk like, cut the line now, no, we can't have that, no, put it down now. I mean, apparently whining is in, you know. So that kind of tone where people are whining, where you hear it, usually, actually, the Jones of the Office, you always hear them talking like that. And any kind of place where people are very closed. But thankfully, I'm safe. I don't have to worry about getting killed by those producers at 24. I'm safe here, producing yet another weekly show, and you know, that's another thing too. You know, when I went to that audition for 24, there were so many people involved in that whole production. But then you take somebody like Miss Divine and you look at some of her sketch films, and she's actually the only person involved in it. And actually, with a lot of planning, you know, you could make a good film, and that's exactly what she did. Same thing with the show, with a lot of planning and a lot of intelligence. But apparently, the people that work on 24 don't have intelligence; they're just all very business-minded. So
I could see why they can't really put together anything extremely interesting. Anyway, so this is Miss Poopee Doodee, giving you the news and updating you on what happened when I, Miss Poopee Doodee, went to audition for the show 24. Anyway, so once again, this is Miss Poopee Doodee, world's most intelligent reporter